Hi YouTube, it's Ivy here, and normally I talk about makeup and whatnot on my YouTube channel. I'm kind of doing like a get ready with me type of thing, and today I want to talk about something that more of my followers would probably care about, at least my Instagram and TikTok followers, and that is conventions, specifically couples at conventions. Now, I'm not talking about couples like they're married or they've been together a super long time. I'm talking about couples that like they've been together less than a year, or couples that like you're not really sure if they're a couple or not. Like people see them as an item, but when you ask them, they're like, "Oh no, 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 we're just friends," but like everybody knows they're a fucking couple. You know what I mean? So the reason I'm talking about not just that that type of relationship, which deserves a video all on its own, but I'm talking specifically about those types of couples at conventions. And the reason why I think at conventions specifically is because conventions, oh my god, I've seen this happen so many times, like so many couples that like it is just first off a bad idea to go to a convention with somebody that you are interested in but not completely with, because if like something happens, it's just a nightmare and things can get super super ugly. And I've seen it happen with so many people where like a breakup happens during a convention and it's just nasty after that, you know. And normally if a breakup were to happen at a convention, it's the type of relationship that's under a year, that hasn't been a year, because anybody that's been with somebody longer than a year and goes to a convention with them and they decide they want to break up, they would have the decency to wait till the convention's over. Most people, there are some losers out there that will still break up with somebody they've been with 5 years or whatnot at a convention and just completely, you know, shatter their world. They do exist, but typically it's somebody that they've been with less than a year, that or somebody that they were not completely with, that they would break up during a convention. And people think a convention is a good way to, it's like a good date. I'm talking about out of town conventions. Obviously it's different if it's a convention in your own hometown, because it's just like going to the park or going wherever, going for coffee. But I'm talking about conventions. I'm talking about conventions, one, because there's none going on and I miss them and I can't wait for them to come back when all this bullshit's done. But two, I'm talking about conventions because it's been in the back of my mind. It brings out conventions, out of town conventions, bring out the worst in people, because you get a bunch of people in one place with the same interest, and you get to see that passion. You get to see them at their rawest form. And so many things happen at conventions that just will bring out the worst in people. And it sucks when it's somebody that you're barely getting to know sees that side of you. I know that's happened with me, where I've gone to conventions with, well, you know, I did a convention with somebody that I didn't know that well, and things were super ugly. And I'll get into that later, because that's part of what I was thinking about when I wanted to make this video. And so basically, first I want to ask the question, is it ever okay to break up with someone at a convention? Because I know that, like, I've known people who have done it and they were basically like crucified for doing it. Because if you think about it, it's a really shitty thing to do, because you spend all this money. Normally, if it's like somebody you're interested in, you're sharing a hotel room. So either somebody has to pay for another hotel room, or you have to suffer through staying in the same hotel room for the rest of the convention, which, I have a story about that. But I'll get to that later. So I think that it's something, in my opinion, that should never be done. Now, I do have a story of when I did break up with someone during a convention, but I'll get to that later, why I feel like I was justified in doing it at that point in time instead of waiting till after the convention was over. Now, I think the reasons why people break up with people during conventions is because they don't realize who that person is until the convention. They think that oh my goodness, what a dream. This person's into the same things I am. We have all the same passions, same interests. Oh my God, they look so gorgeous in cosplay. I just like totally want to like take them from behind in their, in their such and such costume. Like, oh my gosh, this is just heaven for me, right? It seems like a great idea in theory, right? But that's not what happens. What happens is something, because you're out of town and you're stuck kind of together at this event, that this place that is supposed to be the happiest place on earth for whoever, whatever type of convention it is. It is like conventions are like the Disneyland for geeks. So you're in the happiest place on earth with the person that you're potentially interested in, but don't know that well. And so you have high hopes, high expectations, and they are not met. So what do? You break up, right? That's the biggest reason why people break up at conventions. The second biggest reason, and I've seen really shitty people break up with someone at a convention for this reason, is you realize conventions are a lot more fun when you're single. Conventions are a lot more fun when you're wearing such and such costume and all eyes are on you, but what do you have next to you? A person that was like a lot better looking back at home in your hometown, Delwood, nowhere. You get all of these like good looking people around you in their cosplays that look like superheroes, that look like your husbando, like all this shit. And you're looking cute as shit. Your boobs are all perky. Everybody's like telling you how great your ass looks in this. Maybe they're not. They probably shouldn't be. But you're getting all of this attention. People are asking for your picture. People are asking what you did, how you made your costume. And then guess who's next to you? Oh, I made the costume. Oh, I helped him with this. I helped her with this, and blah, 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 blah. That's a hard kill. That's a tough. Now, I remember feeling this way when me and my husband first separated, well, me and my ex-husband first separated, and we were still friends at this point in time. We had first separated, and we were still friends, and in his mind, we were still together. And I had told him very clearly, we are not together. We're just going to this convention together. And I looked cute as shit, and it was a little bit of a buzzkill when my husband had to have me this close to him and whatever. But I wasn't interested in looking for another relationship at the time. But I'm saying that I know the feeling of going to a convention. And this even happened one time with me and my ex-boyfriend, that, him and I are still friends. We've been friends for years. And no matter like how many times we get together and break up, which happens all the fucking time, like we're probably always going to be friends. But him and I did another convention together. And it was not really his thing, but it was my thing, and it was just kind of like we were on the trip together, and it was just like, okay, I go to the convention, you can go with me for this one, then you can go do this and whatever, and then we'll meet up and do this. It was kind of like how the trip was planned. And when he was there at the convention, first off, it was not his fandom. The convention we were at, it was an anime convention, and he has like never seen an episode of anime in his life. Actually seen one episode with me, and it was just like not his thing at all. And everybody's like making comments on my costume, and everybody's asking for my picture, and because he looks like my boyfriend or whatever, and he's not in costume, it was a little bit embarrassing to me, and people are making anime references at him, and he's not understanding them, and it's just like, it's really annoying, But back to my point being, but that's kind of like irrelevant. The point is conventions are a lot more fun when you're single. It's more fun, when you go with a group of friends. Now, it is kind of difficult because friends want to do one thing here and then another thing here, and it can get messy or whatever. But my personal ideal thing is to go to a convention by myself, no friends, no boyfriend, just me and whatever the hell I want to do. I only did that one time ever, and that was for Phoenix Fan Fest. And that was probably the best convention I I ever did, because there was no ties, there was nobody that I was going with, there was no expectations, there was no we're gonna do this, this, and this, and I could do whatever the fuck I wanted because I went by myself on an airplane, went to a place where only I wanted to go, and I didn't have to worry about anything else or anybody else, and that was nice. But if you're gonna go to a convention with somebody that you're interested in, you need to be considerate of that other person. Yes, there are going to be times where, like, maybe you're not with that person as a couple, but how are they going to feel when somebody's like, hey, you know, you look really cute in that costume, blah, 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 can I get your, oh, sorry, is that your boyfriend? And then the person's just like, oh, no, they they don't exist. You know, don't do that shit. If you're going to go to a convention with somebody, be respectful. You know what I mean? Be respectful, especially if you're sharing a hotel room. And sure as shit, do not break up with them during the convention because you want to be single for the rest of the convention, okay? Doesn't matter how much you like the attention. Doesn't matter if your waifu, you know, if somebody's cosplay as your waifu and like they legit look like they've been, you know, jumped out of the cartoon and is just standing there, you know, it doesn't matter. You don't fucking do it. That's my opinion. But I don't know, a lot of people don't care about my opinion, even though, like, people won't leave me the fuck alone, and tell me, like, whatever. So, that's my opinion. However, now I'm going to get into the time where I actually had to break up with someone during a convention, and let me explain to you the reason why, okay? Now, this was, again, one of those situations where, like, we were kind of going together, but we weren't really an official couple. We were, like, interested in each other. We did share a hotel room. We shared the same bed in the same hotel room, and whatnot. But here's what happened. This person only lived like an hour and a half away from where the convention was. Like, yeah, we had a hotel room because an hour and a half is quite a ways to drive, you know, especially if I'm already getting a hotel room because I'm going and like we're kind of an item, whatever, we've like slept together, whatnot. It's like a lot easier if we're going to the same place over and over, to just share a room than have that person drive an hour and a half for 4 days in a row to the convention. So that was the situation. And then there's more to it, okay? I was very, very patient with this person, okay? I was very accommodating, and a lot of people will say the same thing. They're like, oh my goodness, it was just the last straw, I could not take it anymore, blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you the whole story, because I literally could not handle any more of this person's bullshit, okay? So, what happened was, the first night went great, you know, everything was perfect, okay, no, the first night was not perfect, actually. The first day, we had agreed we were going to meet at the location, and we were going to do the convention together, and then in the evening we would meet up at the hotel, and like maybe we would do some of the evening events, but we hadn't decided. But after the convention, like the first day, we would meet up at the hotel. We would either change clothes to do the next event or to do the evening event or whatever, or we would just hang out there, okay? Well, this person decided to go to the convention with a shit ton of cocaine and weed in the back of their car, and they got pulled over, and they got put in jail, and which, you know, is unexpected. I'm like not completely blaming that person, but why the fuck would you bring cocaine and weed to a convention, a place where you know that people are going to be carrying weapons or things that look like weapons, a place that has been known for shootings happening? Like, a convention is like, people are very thoroughly checked at conventions to make sure that they're not in danger to another person. But anyways, because he was planning on taking down that weed and that cocaine and selling it to people at the convention. That was his intention. But anyways, I was able to overlook that. He shows up the next day. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, how are you not still in jail? He was just like, oh no, prison can hold me down, kind of vague about the whole thing, and does not really explain why he's not still in jail. And I'm like, whatever, I'm glad you're here. So we have fun that first day, everything goes fine. We go to the hotel, like, We hang out at the hotel, we get drunk, we have fun, we, do a couple of lines. God, please don't report me for saying that, but yeah. We do a couple of lines, we go to sleep. Next day. Convention goes still pretty good, but he's in the mood today, like everything's gonna piss him off, everything, whatever. And so I'm like, I'm gonna do my own thing, blah, 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 blah. And this one girl is just like, are you with this guy? Because, like, I know him. I'm like, yeah, what's your point? And she's like, I went to high school with him. He's bad news. Like, don't hang out with him. Like, he is just a mess. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I want to try and get to know him better. Like, can you be more specific? And she's just like, blah, 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 drugs, sex, and rock and roll. And I'm like, oh, I already knew that. Whatever. I wasn't looking for a serious relationship with this guy or anything. Honestly, I just wanted him to be, like, my out-of-town boyfriend, somebody that I can, like, hook up with when I went out of town. Not just hook up with, but, like, I wanted him to be my boyfriend, but not a boyfriend that I had to, like, see all the time. I wanted it to be a boyfriend that I only got to see when I was out of town because, like, I fucking hate relationships. So, yeah. I was just like, I don't know, things might work out, and he's really cool. We have a lot in common, we both have Asperger's, whatever. And she's just like, well, maybe you're right. I guess there's somebody for everybody, but I'm just warning you, like, this guy is a mess. And I'm like, okay, like, yeah, I know, like, yesterday he was in jail, so I knew he was a little bit of a mess. So that happens. He is looking up girls' skirts at this point. I see him. They're wearing big ball gowns. This was like a steampunk convention, so they're wearing huge ball gowns, and I see him like trying to look up their skirts. Okay? He doesn't think I can see him, but I totally fucking see him trying to look up girls' skirts. But I'm like, we're not a super thing yet. I'm just like trying to have a good time, whatever. I'm being respectful and like not flirting with other guys, not trying to hook up with other guys, whatever. So there was a concert that night. I was like, hey, there's a concert by this band that we really like. And it was there at the convention. It was like one of those like night events where we could go see the concert. And it was like for a band that I loved but had never seen live before. And I'm not really a concert person, but this was really interesting to me. And this guy, he was a musician. He's just like, I don't go to concerts. I perform at concerts. And I was just like, but you told me yourself you listen to this band and you like this band and whatever. And he's just like, oh, it doesn't matter if I listen to them. I prefer to be on stage, not in the audience. And I'm like, dude, are you going to go or not? And he's just like, if it's free, I'll go. And I'm like, it's $30. He's like, oh, well, I'm going to try and sneak in. And I'm like, fine, sneak in. Tickets are only $30. That's like nothing, okay? Like, that's nothing to pay $30 for a ticket. And I know that, like, conventions can get pretty expensive, in general, and the money really adds up, but like it was not that bad to spend $30 for a live performance, especially because there weren't that many people there, so like you really got to be up close and personal with them. You got a free autograph afterwards and a free picture with them and everything like that. Like it was a really, really, in my opinion, worth it investment. But he said, I'm only gonna go if I sneak in. And I'm like, whatever. Try and sneak in, okay? He gets caught trying to sneak in, okay? He gets caught trying to sneak in, and he gets kicked out. And so he goes, whatever, let's go to the casinos. Me, I am not a casino person. I am not a gambler. I've been to Vegas twice. Never used the slots, never played poker, I mean, I have played poker, but, like, never, like, just with my family, I've played poker. I am not a casino person at all. Well, he wants to go to the casinos. I am like, I paid for my ticket. Have fun. I'll meet you afterwards. And, we had a mutual friend that was staying in the hotel with us, but in a different room, like, in the same... It was a suite. So it was like there was a living room and then there was like the bedroom. She was staying in the bedroom and we were staying in the living room that had like a pull-out bed. So she said, Like, no, I paid for my ticket too. Like, we're staying at the concert. Like, we paid for a ticket. We'll meet you at the casino later, or we'll meet you back at the hotel. And he's like, fine, you know, you guys are losers, whatever. Well, we go. We enjoy the concerts. It's a lot of fun. We get their autograph, we get their pictures, all this stuff. And then he's still at the casino, and it's like midnight, okay? And the casinos are open 24 hours. Like, they don't close, at least where, you know, Tucson, Arizona, casinos never close. And so he's like, I'm still at the casinos, like, come hang out there. And we're like, okay. She doesn't gamble either. Like, the girl that went with us, like, she's not a gambler either. And we should have just been like, hey, we can meet at the hotel. But he was saying that he wanted us to come because he was almost done, and he wanted to ride back to the hotel because he didn't want to spend money on an Uber. So we assumed that, like, he wasn't going to be much longer because he was relying on us for a ride. Her and I rode together. And he would go back to the hotel shortly after we arrived. That was not the case. We must have been at the casino, let's see, it was midnight. We must have been there till like 4 a.m. It was super fucking late, or early at that point. And it's just like, what do we do? Like, we're just sitting there, okay? It was like after the serving hour, so it's like we couldn't even drink at the bar, okay? So we're just sitting in the casino waiting for him to be done. And so she's just like, how about we, like, stand over him until, like, so he knows that it's time for us to leave. So we stand over him, and he loses whatever. I think he was playing, like, Texas Hold'em or something like that. And he loses, and it's like, finally, time to go. Well, we are walking out, and he pushes me. He, like, shoves me out of the way. And he's like, this is your fault. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, this is your fault I lost because I don't know how to talk and do my makeup at the same time. I'm sorry. He's like, this is your fault I lost. I'm like, how is it my fault? He's like, because you were standing behind me staring at me and you threw off my groove and yeah. And I'm like, this wasn't my fault. He's like, I just lost $300 because of you. And I'm like, no, sir. No, sir. And, basically, he's being an asshole the entire time we're driving back, and he's being an asshole to both of us. And, like, my friend that was in the front seat, she was just like, dude, you fucked up. Like, you fucked up big time. And so he's just, like, ignoring her, whatever. And then, and, like, when he shoved me, he was, like, very physical about it. Like, I almost fell to the ground when he shoved me. Like, it was, like, what I would consider mildly violent. Like, he didn't, like, hurt me or anything, but it was, like, and it was humiliating because it was in public. So, we get to the hotel, and I'm in the bathroom, and I'm crying in the bathroom because of how humiliated I am and everything that he did and whatever. I'm crying in the bathroom. And I come out, and he starts, like, trying to take off my pants. Like, okay, like, now it's time to have sex. Like, what? Didn't even say sorry. Didn't even, nothing. He just, like, started trying to take off my clothes. I'm like, dude, no, we're done. We are fucking done. This is, I'm done with you. I'm done with you. He's like, what am I supposed to do now? And I'm like, go back home. Like, he's like, well, can I stay the night here? I'm like, yeah, sure. But you're sleeping on the floor. And he slept on the floor, and he went back home the next day. So that is the only time I ever broke up with someone at a convention. And you can tell me if you thought I was wrong, or like if it could have waited till the convention was over. But in my opinion, like, I was not going to enjoy the rest of the convention with him there. And there was only one day left, so I guess I could have waited, but I could not enjoy the convention with him there. And with him, I couldn't. And I don't think he even went back the following day. I think it was just me there the last day, just me and my friend, and he went back to where he lived. So yeah, in that context, I feel like if you're in a similar context, that would be the only acceptable time to like break up with someone during a convention. But you can tell me if you think I'm right or wrong. This is like so not get ready with me because I barely did one eyebrow and I'm barely putting primer on. But you guys can tell me what you think in the comments. And yeah, that's that. So you all be safe, wash your hands, and when all of these conventions start up again, um, don't be stupid with who you take. Bye. Have a nice Saturday. Is that what day of the week it is? Bye.